Welcome to the ATX Gear Show. I'm Keny.
And I'm Wes.
And it's our 5th episode.
That's right, number 5, the Christmas episode.
Christmas episode.
But,
doesn't feel very Christmassy, man.
Yeah, it
kind of feels like it always does in here. Sad, lonely.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh,
That's better.
that is nice.
Christmas. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas
I like
time. I like it. So, let's get into why we're here today.
Why are we here?
To review the Boss RV-500 Reverb pedal.
The Boss RV-500 pedal. See a lot about this one again on guitar forums and everywhere online. People say it's a really great pedal, get a lot of cool reverbs out of it. Full disclosure, I don't use reverb. We don't use reverb, when we're playing live. I might use a little reverb in the studio if I'm recording something, but even then it's pretty light. But I typically don't use reverb live because I find that, especially with a full band, it tends to drown your guitar sound into the mix and make it hard to stand out.
Yep. And I personally can get everything I need of a reverb from a delay pedal. So I never really used a delay. A reverb, but I do own a reverb. I do own a Donner little mini reverb pedal that's got different functions. And
do you ever use it?
Never.
No.
Never.
Why not?
On the shelf.
Tell me what you don't like about a reverb.
Because I find it pointless. Because I can get all the things that I need from a delay pedal.
What do you need?
To trail my notes.
To trail your notes. So you like a short decay.
Little short decay.
So maybe we can find something on the Boss RV-5 that settles.
Is it gonna delay, a few,
Who knows? Maybe with a little pre-delay and a short decay time, we can find something you like. Now, are you gonna like it enough to pay $349 for it?
Absolutely, probably not.
So, with that being said, let's.
But I might check out the Boss. What is it? DD500, which is a same thing, but it's a digital delay.
And they also have the DD200.
They do,
which is the smaller version
like
of this same thing. They have the RV-200 and the 200 and the 500 and the 600. I don't know what we're doing here. We went way off the rails on that one. Yeah, I'm the same way. And even a lot of big guitar players that play, that sound huge, like Slash. Right. Sounds huge when he plays live, but he doesn't use any reverb. A lot of those guitar players tend to use a little bit of delay to make that sound huge with the delayed repeats, but they get the reverb from the room.
Right.
And just about anywhere you're going to play is going to have varying degrees of reverb. If you're playing in obviously a stadium, which I haven't, but if you do, you're going to have a lot of reverb naturally. You don't need to add anything to it. It's just going to muddy it up and bury it in the mix. Even in a lot of small clubs, they have their own natural reverb. And what I do know some people will do is use reverb and tune it sort of to the room to where it just enhances the natural sound of that room anyways.
Gotcha.
But I've never really personally used a reverb to add just a big wet sound to my guitar tone, especially nothing of this nature. This is a beast of a pedal.
It is a beast of a reverb pedal.
It's got a host of options on it, a host of presets, many that you can dial in and adjust to your liking. So why don't we learn a little bit about this pedal?
Annie, why don't you tell us about this reverb pedal?
Interstellar Toolbox journey to new dimensions of time and space with the RV-500, the most powerful and versatile reverb processor Boss has ever produced. This multifaceted creation machine features class-defying 32-bit floating point processing and immense programmability, putting pro-level studio reverb and more at your feet, the last place you'll need it. 12 modes and 21 newly developed reverb algorithms deliver a huge range of textures, from complementary ambiance to deep immersive sonic atmospheres. The RV-500 is simply the most advanced reverb pedal available, bar none.
All right, thank you for that information. Well, man, let's get right into it. Let's check this thing out.
I'm down, man.
So for the first demo, I'm going to play the guitar, and Keny will dial in some sounds on the pedal and go through everything, and we'll get a feel for how it works and how it sounds. And then we will switch places, and he'll play and I'll dial in some tones and some reverbs on what he's doing. In both of those cases, we'll have a camera on the reverb pedal so that you can see what we're doing. And then after that, we'll talk about what we think about it.
Sounds awesome. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, dude. So let's dive into this pedal, man, and see what it sounds like. I'm not quite sure what reverb is like, but I'll find out. What are you playing through?
I have my usual 68 Fender Vibrolux Reverb reissue back here with Weber speakers. And I'm playing through a custom Strat that I built recently using a made in Japan 57 reissue neck that I had laying around. And this is a Warmoth Alder body in candy apple red.
It's a beautiful guitar, man. What about them pickups?
EMG active pickups.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we should be able to hear the reverb at the maximum sound possible.
Sure. Yeah.
So let's dial in this reverb, man, and see what happens, dude. Like I said, I don't know much about reverb, but I will try and dial you in the best I can make you sound.
Well, let's make me sound wet.
Do it. All right, one more time. All right, one more time, man. Just want to play a little bit more.
Cut. All right, man. Well, I checked it out. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're playing through, and then we'll get to dialing some tone.
Awesome. All right, so today I am playing a 2009 Gibson
Tones.
Now
that we're back to reality, I think I'm getting a contact high. Why don't you tell us? Why don't you tell us what you're playing through?
Today I am using a 2009 Gibson Les Paul Studio. Got Burstbucker Pros in it. I am going to be going through the neck position of that. And I am running into my trusty Marshall DSL 20-watt head through a 2x12 cab with Celestion Greenbacks. So it should sound pretty good. Pretty good.
Well, let's check it out then. I'm ready to dial in some reverb.
All right, here we go. Yeah. All right, man. So to be honest with you, I still don't see myself ever needing reverb. Definitely would not spend $350 on a reverb, but that's just me. I don't use reverb. I use delay. So I don't know how to use reverb, I suppose, especially live. I've never, I don't know how to use a reverb.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It sounds cool. You know, you can get a lot of cool, interesting things if you're playing late at night with some headphones on and you want to dial in some super wet sounds and make your studio and make yourself sound big. But like, I've played shows that you've been to where there were 100+ in attendance, where the guitar we recorded it sounded huge. There was no reverb on that. I used some delay, a light delay at that, because even too much delay will bury your guitar in the mix of the band and it won't stand out. If I'm going to use it in the studio on tracks that I'm recording, there are a plethora of really high quality reverb or rack mounted or reverb plugins that you can use on your digital audio workstation.
And it's not anything on Boss. Boss is great. You're like Boss fan.
I have a bunch of Boss pedals.
Exactly.
I have like 3 GE7s, digital metalizer, 2 Boss choruses. One of them's a Wazacraft. Right. And then
compressors
and 2 Boss compressors. I love Boss pedals. So I know that what they're making is a quality pedal. It's a quality reverb. When you're recording, typically you use reverb to either set something into the mix a little bit by just using a touch of it, or if you want it to sound farther away.
Gotcha.
So if you're on a stage and you're using reverb and you're setting it real high, you're pushing your sound further and further sonically behind the band in the live mix. So
like that Pink Floyd song me and you were talking about that time where you were telling me how he recorded it actually at the end of a hallway coming down a hallway. Right.
And it's that is the song Pink Floyd's it's Leading into Young Lust. It's I can't remember the name of it. I should know the name of it.
You should.
But it's a song leading into Young Lust. I think it's The Space Between, or the Empty Spaces. That's the name of the song. If you listen to that song, there's a guitar on there that sounds intentionally really far away.
Right.
And what they did was they recorded that amp in a room with the door open, and they put the mic way down the hallway so it's getting the actual sound of that
reverb.
Yeah, and like you might be able to simulate stuff like this on that on this pedal, but
we want to know, this pedal has like 400 different settings. So I mean, when we were playing, we weren't able to even touch on the things that you can actually do with this pedal.
There's a lot of presets and settings you can do, and knobs.
It has a tap function for whatever you need a tap function on a reverb for, but it has it. So.
Yeah, you can use reverb for effects like the one we just talked about in that song. Right. If you're going to record and you don't have a long hallway, you can like do that as an effect.
Right.
But as far as like an all the time on your board sort of thing, I don't really get it.
And it takes up a lot of space. This pedal is huge.
It's a big pedal. Yeah, I mean, and again, if it was just a reverb pedal that was like $80, $90, maybe, but for a $350 pedal,
that's a lot for
something that is used by I play a lot in Austin, and I know a lot of the professional musicians in Austin. I don't know anybody that uses reverb live. Right? So this is a $350 pedal to do an effect that, as far as I'm aware, nobody really uses live. So I don't really get it. But it does have a lot of effects. And if you're going to use it as maybe like a piece of outboard gear on your studio.
I mean, it does have a shimmer. I mean, I guess if you had
we didn't try the shimmer effect, but the shimmer effect is cool. It's sort of like it's almost like the EHX Ravish sitar pedal you played. It's got a similar vibe, but almost a little more musical.
I posted the video of me playing that on Facebook and one of the forums, Pedal Boards of Doom. And this one guy nailed the sitar perfectly. We were going to review it, and I played it for a couple of days and realized it just wasn't worth reviewing. And like the guy said in the review, he was like, they should have just named it for what it was like a buzzy phaser. And it's like, yes, if they'd have called it a buzzy phaser, at least that's what you know you're buying at that point.
It's a one-trick pony.
As
is the reverb. It does that one trick in multiple different ways, but ultimately it's about how distant you want your guitar to sound. That's at least what I get out of it. It's that, a dry signal is right up front and in your face, and the more you put reverb, the more you push it back. Now, I will be honest, there are times in the past when I was a younger guitar player that I had a Marshall Plexi amp, and I had a nice amp. I remember. I know, and I had a Fender Spring reverb unit that I put in front of that, and I dialed just a tiny bit to take that, like when you're playing live, that edge of being right in your face off just a tiny bit. Right. But that was a very subtle effect, right? And this thing seems to have a lot of things that are geared towards like heavy
super heavy
reverb
and thick
effects.
and saturated.
Which again, if you're playing live, I can't understand how that would be something that would be useful.
So I guess what we're saying is final thoughts. I personally would not spend $350 on a reverb pedal at all. And I don't even use reverb. And as far as a reverb goes, for you guys that are really into reverb, this is probably the pedal to get.
It does a lot of great things.
It does a lot of things.
Yep. If you like reverb and you're using it, I guess for whatever situation works for you, it is a really robust. It is a really robust pedal. It has a lot of options. It sounds good. It doesn't really color your tone. It's a cool pedal, but it's really, for us, this is a question of reverb or no reverb, and we're no reverb. If you are reverb, then I would not overlook this pedal for sure, because it's got a lot of really cool features and you can dial in some cool tones on it.
So it's up to you guys. Reverb or to no reverb?
That is the question. Well, let's wrap this thing up, huh?
Let's do, man.
Actually, before we wrap it up, why don't we talk about the contest?
Oh, yes.
And we'll get to that, and we'll talk about who won the
Mephi wireless guitar system.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that and see who won.
All right, well, we played the pedal. We've talked about the pedal. Why don't we go to the giveaway that we did a couple of weeks ago, the Mephi wireless system.
Hey, wait, one more time.
All right, well, we both played the Boss RV-500. We've talked about it. Before we wrap up today, why don't we talk about the giveaway from a couple of weeks ago, the Mephi wireless unit.
Mephi sent us this wireless unit to review, and we did, and we're going to pay it forward. And we put the names into a generator and came up with the name Brent Bucks. You commented and said you wanted the wireless, so you're going to get it, buddy. Get in touch. We sent you an email. We need your address, and we'll get it sent out to you. You can play to your mom and your cat.
Congratulations, Brent, for winning the unit, and thank you for watching the show and leaving a comment. We really appreciate that. Be sure to keep a lookout for the next thing that we'll be giving away. And
the Joyo pedal, actually, man.
The Joyo pedal from the last episode. That's right. We'll be giving away that on our New Year's episode. So you haven't already watched one of our videos and commented, comment on the last one why you'd like the Joyo delay pedal, and we will send it to you after New Year's once we've put all the names in the hat, tossed them around, and figured out who's going to win.
Yep. So let's wrap it up, dude.
Let's do it. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned next week for our New Year's episode. That's right. And if you like our videos, please leave a comment, like the video, and or subscribe to our channel for a new video every week, because we're half drunk,
half stoned,
but fully reviewed.
Merry Christmas.
Sleigh bells ring.
Are you listening?
Something, 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 walking in a winter wonderland. Woo! Woo!